speed down just a tiny bit? Well, 0-2 so far on this current road trip. The Orange and Blue looking to atone tonight as they take on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, Matthew Iwanek, Dusty Nielsen on location at Kingsway Boston Pizza. The rest of our crew and a lot of others will be joining us shortly as we get you set for the Oilers and the Canes. Edmonton 5-11-1 on the season. Carolina 10-7. YouTube Trev holding things down for us back at the EST studios. He's going to come down for a pint or two during the game as well. And of course, we highly encourage you to hit us up. Enjoy the conversation on our text line 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat if you're watching on our YouTube channel. Smash that thumbs up button. We appreciate it very much. Cass, here we are, BP. 3:30 in the afternoon. This schedule this year, this is what I was thinking on my drive-in. It's been weird.
It is weird. And you got the Thanksgiving sort of game on Friday.
Kind of, yeah.
The 1 p.m.er. So, yeah, a couple weird dates, couple weird times. But you know what, Tom? We're professionals.
Yes.
We'll deal with it.
Yes.
I don't know about the Oilers.
We don't know about the Oilers.
No, but we'll deal with it. We're good.
All right. So get into the nasty chat or text us at the inbox 780-218-9999. Yes, indeed. The Oilers 5-11-1. The Canes 10-7-0. 18th game of the season, and we're scratching our heads going, what the hell is going on? Cass, I started off the top by saying they're 0-2 on this road trip. We saw them with multiple leads in both games. We saw those leads evaporate before our very eyes. Is this team right now doing anything particularly well?
They're starting games all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Last two, anyways. I mean, you jump out to early leads. You control the play early in a hockey game. That's something.
Sure.
Now you completely fall apart.
Yes.
You let teams back into it.
Yes.
And you ultimately lose.
Right.
But at least, I mean, last year, Tom, if we're talking about last year, they had horrendous starts at times where they just work their way, ease their way into games. So, hey, they've improved on something. They've improved.
You know, at the 20-game mark, the Oilers, I believe, I looked at it this morning on the Hangout. It was 10-10. And there were some people texting in earlier saying, or there was some chatter too, even yesterday. It was like, well, they're not that, they win these next few games, they're not really that far behind where they were last year. 5-11-1, Cass. And it's the way that they've found ways to lose.
Yep, absolutely. And really, the discussion is different, Tom, if they go on that heater.
Sure.
So if they win 6 games in a row, 7 games in a row, and we look at this and we go, okay, they're kind of hanging about where they were last year. Great. Then we'll talk about, the opportunity and the chance to make the playoffs, but they have to do that first.
There was a 5-game heater in that stretch last season. I'm going through it right now.
Well, that was right at the start of the season.
Right at the start. They started the year with a win, 2 losses, a win, a loss. So they were 2-3. Then they rattled off 5 in a row. Okay. Then they lost 3. They lost 1 again. And then by game 20, they were 10-10. I don't see them rattling off 5 in a row right now. And I want to see that change. I hope for the sake of everybody it changes. But the fact, and that's why I brought it up earlier in the show, is, here we are, and the way they lose games doesn't give me any faith in them turning it around. And I know there's a ton of hockey left, but watching them kind of implode in games, game to game, not learning from their mistakes, has me very concerned.
Yeah,
going the rest of the season.
There's a ton of fragility.
Fragility is a great term.
Like they fall apart. Connor McDavid can say it's a resilient group all he wants right now, but they're not, because the second they get scored on, the second something doesn't go their way, the second the momentum shifts at all, it's like it doesn't just kind of shift, Tom. It like
full swing.
Full swing. So it's hard to have faith to say that they're going to have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 games in a row where they're winning. It's hard to see this team, because even in that, when we look at last year and we look at that 5-game winning streak and some of those other games, I'm not shocked that they went on that 14-0-1 run at the end of the year.
Sure.
Where right now, I mean, I would be shocked if they go on a 5-game run. I hope they go on a 5-game run.
That would be lovely. They just had a
wonderful.
3-gamer.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, they just had a 3-gamer and then they lost 2 in a row.
Right.
If they would have went on a 3-gamer, lost one, and then won the game against Florida, probably looking at this going like, okay,
they've got some jam, but no.
And in the manner in which they lost to Tampa and Florida as well.
I mentioned the leads. It's good that they get the leads, but like you said, that's probably the only thing that we look at and go, well, at least they're getting them. They're scoring first. 2 years ago, Cass, you and I had I think in the show lineup, I had a running count. The Oilers have allowed the first goal in a game 39 of 48 games, and it was absolutely ridiculous. So that's different, at least, and that was 2 years ago that I'm referencing. But right now, it's not equating to W's. They're still picking up a ton of losses. Norman, a Combine text, so 780-218-9999. He says, I have faith in you, not the oil. Norm, shout out to you and everybody in the entire shop who's listening, including Norm's boss. Thanks for letting Norm and the entire crew listen to us here on the Oil Stream on Edmonton Sports Talk, live on location at the Kingsway Boston Pizza. If you got nothing to do, you want to watch the game with your pals, you want to visit with Dusty, you want to visit with Owanik, want to say hi to Cass, Sean Bell's on his way, be sure to do that. I see Owanik's got the lanyards too. We finally got the EST lanyards in. So if you want to pick up one of those bad boys, by all means, come on in and do so. I'm going to throw out the question of the night, Cass. Listen, I'm prepping the show. I'm getting ready, right? It's been a long day already. We had a bunch of shows. We've been talking about all kinds of different topics today. And then I'm thinking to myself, like, where the hell are we in the season? And what is relevant? And I go back to the hangout. And we were talking about this, like, what is the solution? How do you fix this? We're 17 games in, on the cusp of game number 18. So the question of the night is this. Hit us up via the Nasty Chat or the inbox, 780-218-9999. Cass, I'm going to put it out to you first. What would you do with the Oilers if you were in charge right now? There's 4 options. One of them's open-ended, and you can take it and go wherever you want with it. Number 1, blow it up and make a big trade. Number 2, fire the GM. Number 3, hold steady and stay the course. Number 4, other. And if you choose other, what would it be? Nasty Chat and text line. Cass, you're up first.
I mean, I got to go as close to number 3 as possible because I don't think you win in a trade right now. Your player value is too low. Teams know you're scrambling. They're going to absolutely eat you alive.
Yeah.
So I think you have to stay the course. Now, by stay the course, I don't mean don't try to change anything internally. By stay the course, I don't mean don't have consequences for players and accountability inside the room, and don't try different things to get everybody going. And
because it's not working.
Because it's not working. But I don't think you can blow it up. I mean, we're not entering into a rebuild.
No,
not a chance.
No.
So
I can't believe we even have to talk about. What about the first round pick?
I mean, I have it on the table
still.
Oh, absolutely.
What if it's a top 10?
I still have it on the table. Oof. I still like how like a first round draft pick this year, even if it's in the top 10, that helps you in 3 to 4 years.
Good point.
Realistically.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's true.
You need help now, next year, maybe the year after. And that's this is the end of your winning window. The next 3 years. Now, ideally, we thought this year was going to be included in that.
Well,
I don't know if it is anymore.
I don't think so anymore.
But you need to have or be unafraid to use all the arrows in your quiver. And to me, that's a first round draft pick. If you need to use it to trade it to either move salary out or to bring somebody in, you got to do it. Now, I don't think there's anything out there, but you got to try.
We do know that they talked to Yaroslav Halak's camp. They've scouted the Montreal Canadiens and their 3 goaltenders. So at least they're showing some sort of effort. I know a week ago, going back to the weekend, not this past weekend, but a week prior, they had the entire hockey ops all hands on deck trying to figure out some solutions, where to meet areas that need to be shored up, how they can get guys in here who can help the team out. So they had an all hands on deck type of thing. It's one thing to go out there and solicit a trade. It's another to consummate one, and one that actually doesn't get you absolutely railroaded at this point.
Well,
like you talked about.
That's the trouble. Is the railroad. Like, if it was a second round pick, it's a first now.
Yeah.
Because of the situation.
Yeeps says, stay the course. All right. Boofighter says, watching from Fredericton. Appreciate that. KD says, do I even watch the game today? Yes, absolutely. You've watched the game today. See what they do. The other thing, too, like, Cass, my inclination for the question of the night, I'll put it out there one more time if you're just joining us. What would you do if the Oilers, or if you were in charge of the Oilers right now? You blow it up. That's number one. Number two, fire the GM. Number three, hold steady, stay the course. Number four, other. Like, I'm with you on hold steady and stay the course. But if I were to give it a variation of that, I go for other. The intention is to stay the course, make incremental little moves and tweaks here and there where you can.
So
but
fire the coach.
Well, that's a major move. And that was, and so it's been not even 2 weeks, and I'm still looking at that going, didn't really need to do that.
No.
Didn't, and I feel bad for Chris Knobloch, because I think he's realizing, like, what a mess this is. And I don't know how a guy that gets helicoptered in and just all of a sudden changes everything when it's his first NHL gig, when he's got the advisor to the owner on the bench with him on his coaching staff. You got a new CEO. Like, it's just, you put him in an unenviable situation. How does he succeed in that, Cass? Unless 97-29 and the rest of the guys decide, hey, we're going to grab our work pail and get the job done. And that hasn't happened. Guys have been banged up. Guys are underperforming. Guys are slumping. The same defensemen make the same mistakes over and over and over again. It ain't working right now. It's not all gloom and doom, Cass.
No, they've started games well.
Thank you for that reminder. Okay, let us know your thoughts. What would you do if you were in charge of the Oilers right now? Do you blow it up? Do you fire the GM? Do you hold steady and stay the course? Or for other? And if you choose other, what would it be? Zedmo texts in via the nasty chat, says, it's a mess. Absolutely. Jenna says, first rounder is okay to let go as long as the target isn't Andreas Athanasiou. Loomis says, you're not wrong. We kidnap Pesci. That would be good to have. Raj says, why are we zeroing in on more backups? It makes no sense. And I'm with Raj on this. Like, Jake Allen, no thank you. Caden Primo, up-and-comer. They've developed him well in Montreal, but what do you really have? And you're putting him into a tough spot. Sam Montembeault is probably the guy you want, but I would assume Montreal wants to keep him out of that trio that's in Montreal. Three-headed goalie monster there. Now we're hearing Yaroslav Halak's names out there. He's got 5 more wins he needs to get to 300 in his career. He's 38 years old. Hasn't been particularly great on some good teams the last couple of years, Cass. But how is he going to save your season?
He's not. He's not. And like, I was listening to Dusty show earlier, and I was listening to Eric Macramella, and I love Eric. I think he's hilarious.
He's hilarious. He's great.
He's great.
Yeah.
But, just hearing him talk about how goaltending's a problem, and they're looking to go and make these trades. And I'm just like, I mean, you're going to kick the tires.
Yeah.
You're going to see what's out there. But goaltending, to me, is not the issue. It has not been the issue this season. Like, if we're looking at things to blame and the order of, this is who we blame first, this is who we blame next, this is who gets the blame after that.
Right.
The goaltending is pretty much the bottom of the list of the things that you need to have better. Like,
we say that in recognition that it hasn't been great.
I'm not saying it's been
We're
great.
not saying it's been
I'm not saying
yeah.
the goaltending's been great and all these fantastic things have happened because they haven't. The goalies haven't stolen them a game yet this year.
No.
They haven't stolen them a game yet this year.
True.
But like when Macramel is talking, he's talking about, well, looking at the statistics, this is what the statistics say. But that's where you just can't look at statistics. You have to actually dig a little deeper. And to me, the problem has not been the goaltending, although it has been a problem.
Yeah, hasn't been a solution.
Problem.
Yeah,
it hasn't been a solution. And we go back to this, is like, well, how many backdoor tap-ins do you give up? How many 2-on-1s do you give up?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot.
And I know you have fluke ones like Broberg steps on a stick. I get that.
Matthias Ekholm rifles one off the back of Zach Hyman trying to get a new stick.
I mean, like it's not the goaltending.
Yeah.
Could it be better? For sure.
Absolutely. We recognize that.
It's not the issue. So looking for a trade and saying, like, if you're asking, would I send a first round pick out to try to bring in a goalie? One of the young guys from Montreal? No, not a chance.
I kind of scoffed when I heard Jake Allen's name. I'm like,
what's it gonna bring for you?
I don't know. He has a no movement clause too.
Yeah,
and there's a bunch of no movement clause. All right, 780-218-9999. We are live on location at Kingsway Boston Pizza. We're in the lounge. If you want to come by, there's lots of great game day specials. We see some people rolling in. I see a Hurricanes jersey and a Whalers hat.
Okay.
That's a great look. Look at that. You guys got the Hurricanes. How are you? Thanks for coming in. All right. Fat Dan texts us, says, unenviable position might be an understatement. This organization appears to be so dysfunctional. It's an untenable position. That one from Fat Dan. You guys, did you guys just text in? You guys just text in. What's up? All right. AM Nasties. Make sure you say hi to Dusty and Awanik. They're just over here. There we go. They're watching from the lounge. They're right there.
Beautiful.
Looking good. Yeah, there we go.
Classic Whalers hat, too. Those are good.
That is so good.
Those are nice.
Dusty's going to go over there. Normology says, yes, finally a drive time show. Yeah, Norm. Pre-game show at 5 o'clock. The game starts, so we're on an hour and a half before. Big Uke says, BP's pregame. Let's go. See you boys soon. Big Uke, yes, come on in, buddy. Hopefully we get this place packed.
And you know what? You got to get here soon because there's a good amount of lanyards on the table.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to disappear.
They are starting to disappear.
They're starting to disappear already. Yeah. So if you're going to get here, you want a lanyard,
that's pretty nice.
Some swag. Make
it.
sure you pop on by.
Come on over. Come say hi.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll hook you up with a lanyard. And maybe Dusty will buy you a beverage if you're nice to him. 780-218-9999. The nasty chat, Mo Jabers says, making a panic deal won't solve the issues. Paul Coffey, as quote unquote, an assistant coach, is there for a reason, to set the wheels in motion. He is there to see who needs to get traded. Eyes and ears, Cass. I mean, yeah, nobody's denying that either.
No.
How would you feel as a player?
I hope it's not the case, though.
How would you feel as a player? Like, I know Tom Fitzgerald with the Devils a couple of years ago. I think they're mopping up the season. He was the GM. I think he had the intern tag on there. They needed someone behind the bench, and he slid in as an assistant coach. And he's still the GM to this day. He's built a really good team. They've had some really high-end picks. They obviously hit on both Hughes brothers, and that's working over there. Where I think back to where a GM got behind the bench in another situation was Doug Waite with the New York Islanders, where he was assistant coach and assistant GM, and he was better known as another voice to Charles Wang, who was the owner at that time. That clearly didn't work. Wang had to sell. He's since passed on. They're in a better spot, the Islanders are. They got their new arena. But we all know that was a dysfunctional organization on Long Island. You would have been playing against them back then.
Yep. Yeah. It's tough because he is a Hall of Fame guy. That
of course
knows how to play hockey.
Of course, but you're putting him into a jam.
You're putting him into a jam. So it's not exactly, I would say, an enviable position. As a player, I mean, here's where the challenge lies with that. And I would say this as a player. Generally, different coaches take on different roles. Now, your head coach, usually a little bit separate from the team. Now, players, coaches, they're still involved. They're still likable.
Yeah.
But like for me, especially as a fourth line guy in and out of the lineup, if I have something that I need to get off my chest or hash out, typically I'm not going to the head coach first.
Right.
I'm going to the assistant coach. They're usually much more personable, much softer and gentler. Like
who's your guy?
It depends. It depends on the team. Dave Cameron would have been in Ottawa. Okay. Who it was? I had Mario Tremblay for a little bit.
Oh, Mario Tremblay, right? Really? Wow.
Yeah, but that's you take on the role of assistant coach and the role of head coach are different.
Yeah.
In what you're doing, the head coach is the one making the final decisions, and you almost approach the assistant coach as like an advocate for you. So like if you're going to say, hey, this is kind of how I'm feeling. I don't know if you've talked to the head coach about it, but this is what I'm feeling. What do you think? what do you guys feel I have to do? Like you go like levels
Yeah.
To a certain extent. And the first person you go to generally is the assistant coach. And that's who you're having conversations with. And if you take away that safe space, all of a sudden you don't have that person, because you can't just go bounce those same type of ideas off of someone where it's like, well, he could be, I'm talking about how I'm struggling with this and mentally with this. Like, I don't want this getting right up to the owner.
I don't want my head coach knowing everything.
No, not the head
thinking.
coach.
Yeah,
not the head coach. I don't want the owner of the team.
Oh, neither. Yeah,
thinking everything.
Oh,
that's
good
where
point. Yeah,
that's where it is.
The
Not
minutia.
Right. Not so much with the head coach, because if I'm talking to the assistant coach, I'm assuming that the head coach and the assistant coach are going to talk about this.
Yes.
If I've been like, hey, I'm kind of feeling frustrated with my ice time right now. I haven't talked to, I haven't talked to Paul about it yet, but like this is kind of what I'm feeling. What do you think? Like that, that softly is going to get to the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're not anticipating that that's going to go necessarily all the way to the GM, and you're certainly not anticipating that that's going to go to the owner of the team, where it could discourage some of that communication. And that to me would be an interesting little tweak to the situation. Now, you still have Gulletson there, right? So you still have someone that may have that capacity to do that, but as a defenseman now, you don't. Not in the same way, anyways, which is kind of.
Can you go to Mark Stewart?
I guess you could.
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess you could.
Yeah.
A little bit different. Usually you're having those conversations with the guys that are on the bench with you all the time. But I guess you could.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been retired for that long. He's just getting into coaching at the NHL level. But you're right. Like, what if you want to say something to Mark Stewart and you say you have a concern or something like that? You go to Mark Stewart, then Paul Coffey wants to. But then if Paul Coffey goes to Mark Stewart, he squeezes him for information, and then that can still get to the owner. So
and inside the coaching staff too, where it's like if you had stuff that you're like just talking about as a coaching staff that you don't necessarily want to get up there.
Yeah.
Which is just, it creates a little bit of a, I don't want to say, and the word dysfunction gets thrown around a lot. I don't want to say that inherently it's dysfunctional, that part of it. I don't want to say that because I don't think it necessarily is true.
Yep.
But it can complicate the situation. It can complicate the situation. Certainly.
780-218-9999 and the nasty chat. I see you guys are having fun talking to each other. It's the Oilers and the Hurricanes from PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hurricanes 10-7 on the year. The Oil 5-11-1. Question of the night is, what would you do with the Oilers if you were in charge right now? Number one, 3 options plus a 4th that's open-ended. Number 1, blow it up and make a big trade. Number 2, fire the GM. Number 3, hold steady and stay the course. Number 4, other. If you choose other, what would you do? Let's get to starting lineups now. Oh, this is interesting, Cass. McDavid with Draisaitl and Warren Fogle. Nugent Hopkins with Kane and Hyman. That's a pretty damn good line. McLeod between Janmark, who returns to action, and Derek Ryan. And then you've got a combination that we're taking the morning skate of Brown, Gagne, Hamblin, and Ernie. I would assume Hamblin is likely playing as the centerman. Gagne was the odd man out. Brown has been demoted if he ends up playing in this game. And then Ernie is a 4th liner at best right now. I mean, do you want to take a crack at who you think might play or what combination of those guys might play? Because
does it matter?
I don't know. I mean, I want to say yes.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to back that up with an argument, I don't know if I could. I'd like to see Sam Gagne back in there.
Yep.
I think he should be. He's been a spark plug. Is he a top 6 guy? No. But I think he's given more jam than Ernie. Certainly more than Brown. But I understand with Brown and having to get him back on track, which has not happened. Obviously, that's a bit of a dilemma. And then Hamblin, I think, has been okay. So, like, of those 4, what do you do? Do you only take 2 of them and put them in the lineup and go with 7D? Or do you put all 3 out of those 4 and then you play them 5 minutes? Like, what happens? Because on defense, here's where they skated in Carolina that makes it odd. Nurse with Kulak. What is that? Ekholm with Bouchard. Broberg, Ceci, and Desharnais. Broberg on the left side, Ceci, Desharnais rotating. What the hell is going on there?
I can tell you what I think is going on.
Please do.
Is Ceci has been steady, and you're wanting to soften out Broberg.
So you put him. Ceci's been consistent.
Ceci's been consistent.
Yeah.
not hasn't made a ton of mistakes. We haven't had to talk about him a whole bunch.
No.
And I think the mindset is maybe you get a few more minutes out of Broberg.
So do you even think Desharnais will play tonight?
I would lean away from it
because I don't think he played much, if at all, in the third period.
No, I think Desharnais probably is coming out of the lineup, and then for the forward group, I don't know who you take out, but I think we see 12 and 6. I think Desharnais comes out, and CC dropping down would indicate that to me. And I think the thought behind it would be, let's try to give Broberg some stability here, a predictable player that he can play with, to maybe say to Broberg, okay, you're playing with a guy that's consistently defensively, or consistent defensively.
Yes.
You have the ability now to not try to take that onus upon yourself, and to hopefully free him up to play with a little bit more confidence.
I'm glad you articulated that, because I was trying to figure it out on the oil stream earlier with Dusty. I'm like, okay, to me, CC is the pillar, call him that, or the steady presence. But I wasn't sure if they wanted to go 11 and 7 or if they want to go 12 and 6. This is not a Carolina team that's going to run you through the boards and out of the rink.
Well, no.
Right? I mean,
not physically.
Exactly. So that would be my argument against an Adam Ernie playing tonight.
Yeah.
And then you could put Gagné in there. You could put Hamblin between Gagné and Brown. Are they the biggest line? No. But I'm not worried about them physically against the Carolina Hurricanes.
No, I mean, against the Carolina Hurricanes, as we'll talk about when we get to game changers. Yes. I mean, I get concerned about the pressure, because they don't try to run you through from I'm just going to hit you so hard you go through the boards, but they try to position you through the boards to give you no space when Carolina's playing well.
Yeah, and that's different. They play smart, quick hockey, right?
Yep.
Let's get to the Hurricanes lineup now. Sebastian Aho between Teuvo Teravainen and Seth Jarvis. Then you've got Kasperi Kotkaniemi between Andrei Svechnikov and Martin Necas. Jordan Stahl with Jordan Martinook and Jesper Fast. Jack Drury between Michael Bunting and Stefan Nason. Those are your forwards for the Carolina Hurricanes. Tonight on defense, this is a really steady D. And I love the addition of Dmitry Orlov. So here's the pairings on defense for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Jacob Slavin with Brent Burns. Brady Shea with Brett Pesce. Dmitry Orlov with Jalen Chatfield and Cass. They're not playing Tony DeAngelo here.
That's a deep defensive group, Tommy.
They're not playing Brendan Lemieux. And no Freddie Anderson blood clots. That's scary stuff. That lineup, before we get into game changes. Hello, Belsy. There's a headset here, and go get yourself a libation. Sean Bell's here, and then we'll bring him in.
Too cool for school. He doesn't want to be on camera.
He just put in a good day's work.
Yeah, so did I, and I'm here.
I know. Someone asked if you're a lawyer by day.
No, my brother's a lawyer.
Yeah.
No.
You're financial advisor.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. And then analyst extraordinaire by night. Okay, the lineup, without going too deep and giving away anything on game changers, when you look at this Hurricanes lineup, what stands out to you?
The depth of the defense. I mean, as you just went through, that is a deep defensive group. And what that communicates to me is that if this Carolina team plays their systemic, straightforward game with their forwards, they're a tough team to beat. They're going to be a very tough team to beat, because in the defensive zone, these guys have the capacity to turn pucks over.
Yeah.
All of them do. Slavin's fantastic. Burns, not like he once was, still a very, very good defenseman. That Carolina team is deep. Not necessarily on the forward group. The forward group works hard. It's more of a by committee. Now, they do have some star players or borderline star players, but that defensive group, Tom, is absolutely spectacular for the Carolina Hurricanes.
It's pretty darn good. Again, no Tony DeAngelo, no Brendan Lemieux, no Freddie Anderson for the Carolina Hurricanes, who are 10-7 this season. Cass, starting goalies, 25-year-old Stuart Skinner gets the nod, 4-6-1, 339 goals against average, 873 save percentage in 12 games this season. And then you've got Skinner facing Carolina for the first time in his career. At the other end of the rink, we're anticipating Antti Ranta, still kicking around. The 34-year-old is 5-2 with a 288 GAA, 885 save percentage, one shutout in his 8 games this season, 4-4 lifetime versus Edmonton, 246 goals against average, 914 save percentage with 2 shutouts in 8 games against the Oilers over the course of his career. The other goalies that the Canes have on the lineup or in the roster is Pyotr Kochetkov, and then Freddie Anderson is dealing with blood clots. So, having said that, Stuart Skinner returns to action. Calvin Pickard, I think it's safe to say, not the savior of this Oilers team this season, but he gave them a steady game, and now Skinner gets a little bit of rest. What do you expect from him tonight?
I mean, it's almost the same thing as Pickard, where you just want consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me a solid night. Make the saves you're supposed to make. If you can make one big one that you're not supposed to make, that would be fantastic. That would be fantastic. But that's what you want here.
Yeah.
Don't let any softies in.
Was it you that texted the group chat the other day when we were watching that game against Florida early on? There's your big save, or was that against Tampa?
That was even the game before.
That was the game before.
I think that was the game before.
Well, they won that one against Seattle.
They had won that one. I think that was Seattle early on where I said there was a big save early.
All right. The big man's coming in. He's ready to go. Let's get Sean Bell in here. He's got a headset. He's got his microphone.
Hey, buddy. Good. I don't think they can hear you. He complimented me. Very nice. And that's about the last time you're going to hear him compliment me.
Oh, boy. There's a Wannick. A Wannick has some lanyards. We're at BP's Kingsway if you want to come on down. Your headset's right there, Belsy. A Wannick's going to get you set up. All right, I'll just go on the end here. We got lots of room. We're doing good.
Belsy and I got wide hips.
Yes, you do. I know.
Those old childbearing hips take up a lot of space.
You guys are hilarious.
Hips don't lie, Cass. Hips don't lie.
They never do.
All right, we got to turn Belsy's mic up a little bit. Say hello, Belsy.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Good. All right, 780-218-9999. It's the Oil Stream pregame show live on location at BP Kingsway. Come on down. Some great game day specials. We've got some Hurricanes fans in the house. One of them wearing a Whalers hat, the Canes jersey. Don't see a lot of those, but great to have them in tow. Belsy, we're just talking about the Oilers and the goaltending. You and I have been talking about this team all along. Where are you at with this group going into this game tonight?
I just hope that they're able to, get out to those leads that they have been doing, and then protect the lead.
Why can't they protect those leads?
Well, we've talked about it ad nauseum. It's the fact that they can't play D, and it's hard for the team to figure it out. And clearly, they're fragile mentally, because that's teams that are hardened and they're mature. They're the teams that can play, and they don't change the way that they play. Now, all of a sudden, you get this team, and they should be in a better position mentally, but unfortunately, they're not. So they need to figure out a way to limit the mistakes, limit the turnovers, and have a just good, solid defensive game. I don't think you need to win this game 6-5, but I mean, let's be honest, and we're not saying 2-1 either, because that's just not realistic. So can they win this game 4-3 because they had a couple saves, they played really good defensive game, they've limited the turnovers, they keep guys in front of them? That probably is a win for us. Even if you lose the game and it's 4-3 and you've done good things on the defensive end, I think that's a small win.
That's not a small win to me. At the start of the season, that would be a small win. 5 or 6 or 7 games ago, that would be a small win.
But that's how bad it is, Cass, and that's the problem.
You can't
and that's
take
why,
that as a small win anymore.
I have to.
You
because hey, I made a
points.
PSA on the Hangout, and I told these fans to start doing this stuff, and here we are. And that is actually a small win, because they have given up so many 2-on-1s, 3-on-2, odd man rushes. They've given up so many things that are just like ridiculous. We played together in Houston. Could you imagine Kevin Constantine, as much as we dislike this guy, could you imagine what he would be saying right now?
Oh,
it would be an absolute joke.
It would have been stomped out, Belsy. The rush chances against would have been stomped out in game 3.
Huh.
And your penalty killing would
creative bonus, like every inch of creativity would suck the life out of
how many hours?
But they would have been unbelievable defensively.
Yeah, how many hours of video on the penalty kill? If we had a penalty kill that was like 78% or 75, whatever, they're like 73% now.
That wouldn't have flown.
No,
but either would their defense. And so this is why I'm trying to say that, hey, a small victory to me is a game of 60 minutes where you have kept guys in front of you. You've limited the scoring chances, because Everything else has been egregious.
Yeah.
Egregious,
I
great-
get that.
great word.
A small victory doesn't get you into the playoffs at this point.
A small victory helps you move in the right direction, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Edmonton's penalty kill cast, like you were saying, it is 72.7%, so just below 73, 27th in the league. 2 shorties scored. If you're wondering about the Canes, their PK is middle of the pack at 79.3%. They've scored 4 goals shorthanded, so they're dangerous when they are a man down. And the Oilers' power play has struggled lately. It's dropped to 12th in the NHL. 13 for 60, 21.7%. The Canes, meanwhile, 15 for 61, 24.6. That's good for 7th in the National Hockey League. So the special teams are starting to fall. I mean,
Yeah, and
PK hasn't
normally
been good, but
you'd look at it and you'd say a power play like that is still good, even
It's
though
still
it's still good. I mean,
upper
it's still
echelon.
still upper echelon.
Yeah.
However, when you combine it with the atrocity that the penalty kill is, all of a sudden you're falling apart.
right.
You know, we as in teams, and most of the teams that I played on, Belzy, you can comment on this. Generally speaking, if you were over 100% combined, so if you take your power play percentage
Yeah.
and you take your penalty kill percentage and you smush them together, if you're over 100%, you're happy with
Yep.
what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, 105%, that's the goal. That's like, hey, if we want a lights out power play and a lights out penalty kill, we get to around that 105%. We're crushing it
Right.
now. But the Oilers aren't even close to that. They're you're below it because the power play has, particularly that first unit,
Yep.
has really struggled. Kind of like Belzy's mustache, which, by the way, I can't stop staring at.
I know, it's amazing, hey?
I
funny
stared
part
at it
is-
for like a full minute. You were talking, I don't even hear what he's saying right now.
Oh, baby.
I don't
That's
hear what
the
he's
best
saying
part
right
about
now.
the whole thing, Cass, is that I was shaving my beard off and I was like, you know what? I just want to mess with my wife for a bit.
Oh, that's the best.
Poor
So I'm
Lindsay.
actually going to like shave this thing where it's not even. So on this side, it's like way more. It's a little bit thicker. This side is thin. Like it's all over the place. And it's completely by design.
That's amazing.
But now I'm going to get rid of it.
I always do that for vacations. Like if I'm taking time off in the summer, because normally I have a beard, it's like I'll shave it into a mustache just while I'm on vacation, just to drive my wife
I
nuts.
respect that.
Oh, yeah. That's
Maddie doesn't
exactly
like
what
it.
it's doing.
Oh, she hates it.
Yeah.
What does Lindsay say about your mustache?
She walked into the house and she said, "What is that?" And I was like, "You don't like it?" And she's like, "Get it off your face."
How many days? Because I think you had
This
it
is
over the
now
weekend.
3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
I love
3 days too long.
it.
It's the Oil Stream pregame show right here, live on location at the Boston Pizza Kingsway. Come on down. Great game day deals and specials, food and drinks as we get set for the Oilers and the Hurricanes. Tom Gazzola and Matt Kassian and Sean Bell with you. Keep those texts coming in. 780-218-9999. Or if you're watching via the Nasty Chat as well, smash that thumbs up button. We appreciate it. Let's get to Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and amongst Remax realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check them out, DamonBunting.com or Damon Bunting Real Estate on Instagram. Cass, number one, and Belzy, please, by all means, chime in whenever you want on this.
Mhm. We know he will.
Mhm. Number one, defending structured pressure. Do explain.
Well, we talked about it briefly earlier, where when Carolina is playing well, they play an incredibly structured game. Up-tempo, fast. Now, they're not going to try to run you through the boards. They're
Right.
not like a physical team, but they are a highly aggressive team.
Right.
Where they have a very structured forecheck. They have a very good back check. They back pressure well. And they on the tail end of that, they have a fantastic defensive core, which we talked about
Yes.
already as well.
Yes.
So for the Edmonton Oilers, you not only do you have to prepare to be facing that structure, which is something that the Edmonton Oilers struggle with all the time. Teams that play an aggressive forechecking game,
Right.
and do it in a manner that's consistent, like Edmonton struggles with that. You're going to have to defend against it. And what I mean by that is when turnovers are forced, because turnovers do happen, mistakes are made, is where positionally, and I'm going to, both the forwards and the defense, maybe I'll touch on the forwards and Belzy can talk about the defense here, but positionally, you have to make sure that you are on the right side of the puck.
Right.
Because your defensemen are going to be dealing with such aggressive pressure, you have to be thinking defense first. And that's a tall order for this Edmonton Oilers group. Not that Carolina, again, has like an otherworldly offense in guys that'll just burn you.
Right.
They've done it systematically, up and down the lineup. Everyone has kind of been chipping in. And that's because, again, they just pressure to force a turnover, and you just can't cheat to the offensive side of the puck. So Edmonton's forwards in particular have to be aware, because we all know the defensemen screw up way more than the forwards do. That's just that's the way
naturally.
hockey is.
Yeah.
And so you make sure you're getting back to position, supporting your defensemen against that heavy forecheck.
This is a team, Sean, that Carolina is known for having a lot of the same type of players, and they do a good job of forcing defensemen to make the mistakes as the defensemen tend to do. What's your reaction to what Cass just said?
Belsey's reaction is to bury his chin in weak side rim and just hope something happens.
Oh,
you know damn well I never did that.
Ever, yeah.
Now,
never.
with that being said, yes, Carolina's their style is unrelenting. Everybody plays the same way, which makes them successful, and that's what good teams always do. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Is that the Vegas, the Colorado teams, the Carolina teams? They consistently play hard, and they don't change. It's hard to play against. So for the Oilers, they've got to limit the mistakes. And what I mean by that is that cliche answer: the blue lines, high danger chances and opportunities come out of those spots where if you don't get the puck in at their blue line, it turns around, it goes back down your throat. If you're at your blue line and you don't get it out, well, guess what? There's probably a guy in behind you, and that thing's going to end up in the back of your net. So taking care of the two blue lines is obviously a big piece of that puzzle, and then making sure that everything that you do is mistake-free. Is that going to happen for the Oilers team? No, but you have to be able to limit the mistakes that you make, because a team like Carolina is honestly preying on you to make those mistakes, and then they're going to try to capitalize.
Anything else? Yes. Or was he absolutely?
I think he's good there. I mean, if I was going to tack on one more thing, I think the defensemen as well as the forwards, like, you have to support your D partners. This isn't
right.
This isn't one.
You have to be connected.
Have to be connected. This isn't one where you can kind of just willy-nilly it. It's like, no, because you're facing such structured pressure, you have to respond in kind.
Right.
In what you're trying to do against. Okay, if this is where the pressure is coming, these are where our outs are. This is where we call them automatic outs. These are the automatic outs.
The release valves.
The release valves, the pressure release. This is where you're going. This is what we're doing. And everyone has to actually execute that. Because if one guy just goes off on his own plan, it all falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, mindless forwards can do whatever they want. And the defensemen that are usually the brains of the team are going to have to be super connected. And they're going to have to make great passes to the forwards that are going to be looping all over the ice. So defense is going to win this game because they're usually the smart ones on the team.
Oh boy, here we go. A rift between the team here at EST on the Oil Stream pregame show. I love it. I love it. It is Game Changers, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Number 1, defending structured pressure. Number 2, Matt Kassian, Svechnikov's snipes.
He's got zero snipes for Svechnikov.
Yeah.
Hasn't scored a goal yet this year. Yeah, don't get there.
What's going on with him? 5 assists, -1.
Yeah,
9 games played.
9 games hasn't found a way. I mean, we look at McDavid and Draisaitl. They've still put up points.
Yes.
Still scored some goals, but he's a guy that we see as a highly offensive, highly skilled player that can put the puck in the net, that hasn't found ways to do it. Now, I think recently it seems to be that he's starting to find his stride a little bit more. The reason to watch him today is I think it's out of the last 4 games against the Edmonton Oilers, he has 2 hat tricks.
Oh,
so
memory.
Yep, it might be the last 5.
Let's take a look.
I believe it's the last 2 seasons he's got 2 hat tricks against Edmonton. So a team that he feels good scoring against, a team that he feels he can have an opportunity to put the puck in the net against. And to me, that's a little bit scary. And the reason that's a little bit scary is, like, you can end up being a slump buster here for a guy that's itching to score a goal.
Yeah.
To now be looking at this, and because you always have teams, same thing for Sean, you have teams you play well against. And you're just like, regardless of who's out there, I like playing against this team. Generally, it's a psychological thing because you had a good game against them once. You're like, just automatically assume you're going to have a good game against them again. We see it with Leon Draisaitl and the Nashville Predators, right? Where that's his team. He puts away points. He's always going to get them for whatever reason. And Svechnikov against the Edmonton Oilers, that's what he finds a way to do, is he scores goals. So a little bit
Two last
concerning
year.
for me. Okay, so
Both
it was 2
games.
last year. I wasn't sure if it was over 2 seasons or 1. But yeah, 2 times last year. Then 3 snippies. So Look for Svechnikov to be buzzing tonight.
7 goals lifetime versus the Oilers in 8 games. 6 of those coming in 2 games last year. 1 in a loss, October 20th, when the Hurricanes lost to the Oilers, and then in a win when the Oilers returned to Carolina on November 10th. So thank you, Alyssa. What would you say about defending a guy like Svechnikov, who has struggled this year, but has your number, especially last year where he scored 6 on you? This guy's buried on you.
Yeah, there's not much you can really say other than you got to take away his time and space. This is a big player. He's obviously got a lot of skill, and he's a little bit snake bitten. And you don't want that guy to all of a sudden get off the schneid against you, because that could present all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
When you have a team that like Carolina that's buzzing, and you got one of their key contributors, not doing what he's supposed to, and then all of a sudden he goes off on you, like that's the worst case scenario. So for me, it's just play hard, take away time and space, limit his opportunities that are grade A 10 bell chances, and keep him at the zeros. And, you're probably going to be in a better spot than you were if you decided to let him go off.
Yeah, he's got no goals this year, 5 assists, -1, 9 games played, so he's missed some time. He's going to be paired up with Kasperi Kotkaniemi and Martin Necas on the Hurricanes' second line. That is Andrei Svechnikov, who we were discussing, number 2 on Game Changers. Number 1, defending structured pressure. Number 2, Svechnikov snipes. Number 3, make your Janmark
back in the lineup. Not like I'm expecting a ton from him 5-on-5, although hopefully he's able to step in and contribute and add to some of that defensive depth. But the big thing for him is going to be on the penalty kill. Can Janmark step in, coming back from an injury, and be effective on the penalty kill? Because it has been so atrociously horrible.
Yeah.
Can he come in? Can we move from like a 72 point whatever percent to a 75%? Can we move to a 76%? Can we just start inching up there? And to me, he's a big part of it. Player that plays pretty smart. Yeah. He's a smart player, a cerebral player.
Right side of the puck, as you guys were talking about.
Right side of the puck
earlier.
type of player. And for me, where he has the ability to have the most impact would be on the ice on the penalty kill. So I'm looking for that today. We'll see how he's used, how Knoblauch utilizes him. And a big night for him coming back into it.
I'm looking at the PK, 3 for 4, 2 for 4, 5 for 5, 3 for 3, 2 for 3, 2 for 2, 3 for 6, 3 for 4, 1 for 2, 4 for 6, 2 for 3, 3 for 3, 4 for 5, 4 for 4, 2 for 3, 2 for 3, 3 for 6. It's leaked a lot of goals.
Not that many nights off.
How many nights were they actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 nights out of 17 where they have actually not given up a power play goal against.
Which is like right in that 3-game stretch that we talked about. I think it was 2 games ago where they were actually clipping at 90%. It was right around the time that Woodcroft was removed, and then Stewart took over those duties. So they have the ability to do it, because 90% is no joke.
No.
Now, what do you have to do? Like, why did you get to 90%? You got to figure that out. But adding a guy like Janmark to your PK is a big thing, because he plays on the right side of the puck. He's got great stick. He's aware of what's going on around him. But we also talked before he got hurt, he got moved up to the top line, and everybody was kind of sitting there like, well, why would he be the guy that moves up to the right, to that spot on the right side?
Right.
Well, he's actually a really good player, and he's very defensive. He's solid all around. He can skate. And I think the Oilers need a guy like that in the lineup, because he can just really help calm things down, right? He solidifies things. Whatever position he plays, he's going to solidify a little bit because of the responsibility that he has on the defensive side of the puck. And at the same time, he actually tries to contribute offensively. Like, he crashes the net hard.
You're telling me he's Kyler Yamamoto.
Basically.
Well,
at this point, is what they need.
Like trying to.
Yeah.
Well, that's
he's their energy guy. Like, when he moved up to that top spot with Leon and Connor, he was energy. He was the guy that was going on the forecheck and getting the pucks. He was the guy that was crashing the net, and he actually played really well. Like, we sat at Boston Pizza Capilano, and we were like, man, Janmark is actually playing really well, and then obviously got hurt.
Yeah.
That's what the Oilers need. They need more guys that can get into that frame of mind where it's just high octane, go create something. Stop playing perimeter hockey, get to the net, because that's usually where you make something happen.
If Janmark had played,
Stop staring at my mustache.
I can't. I can't. Seriously, anytime I'm looking, I'm like, my eyes start up here, and I'm just like, they just start drifting down, and I'm just gonna stare at it. I can't.
Do you want to touch it or no?
Oh my goodness!
Might have to.
Matt
Might
Kassian,
have to.
Sean Bell, Tom Gazzola, live on location at the Boston Pizza Kingsway. It is snowing, boys. We have more people rolling in. I see Big Uke. Hello, Big Uke. He's got his Heritage Classic Oilers jersey on. The Canes/Whalers fans, thumbs up to them.
They're
and
not
then
waving
Mo
at
and his
you.
cousin are here. Good to see you. All right, people are starting to roll in. I hope it's going to be packed in here. You guys are feeling good. You guys are snipping at each other. It's absolutely hilarious. This text comes in and says, Matt Kassian kind of looks like the bass player from Death from Above, 1979.
Don't know what he looks like. I'm assuming he's incredibly handsome.
He's ruggedly handsome.
Get out of here.
All right. YouTube, Trev, if you're back at the station, you want to hop on? Can you say hello to everyone?
Yo, yo, yo. How's it going, everyone? Yeah, I'm holding down the
you go.
fort here at the EST headquarters. Having a lot of fun. Seems like you guys are having a little bit more fun. But, yeah, this is super sweet. You guys look great, and I cannot wait to make my way down there in, maybe less than an hour. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. You guys are crushing it. And how are the drinks going down, boys?
Well, I know you can't have any because after the whole Gager incident, the beer fridge at the office got a lock put on it, and Iwanek, it looks like, is wearing it from the EST.
He has it right now.
He's very
around his
frustrated
neck.
over there.
But we're good. We're good. You know, these guys are having some beverages, and I got a water, and we're good.
That'd be.
Yeah, soda water.
Let's
with
go.
like
Sounds
14 lines in it.
Sounds like
Why?
there's a lot of fun going on in the background. So people are starting to show up, which we love to hear and love to see. So that's great.
Yes, and your former colleagues here
Oh yeah.
are
They're
awaiting your arrival. This is where we discovered YouTube, Trev.
Is he going to be like the conquering hero that comes riding in?
Yeah, yeah.
I hope
Oh, I can't wait.
Sure needs
I got an
to
entrance song coming up.
For him.
I got
And
man.
yeah.
Walking with a boombox on his shoulder.
Is the glass going to break?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I got the Stone Cold coming in as soon as I walk in.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, get
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
that down here. YouTube, Trev, holding things down back at the EST studios. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian, Sean Bell, Matthew Wanek, live on location at BP Kingsway. If you want to stop by, watch the game, lots of game day specials here at Boston Pizza. And be sure to come on down. And Dusty's going to come back. He had to take Marshall power skating. So he'll be back a little bit later on in the evening. Of course, we just went through Game Changers, brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Remax Real Estate, I should say. And if you're looking to get into the market or maybe sell your house, check out Damon, a friend of ours. And Belzy, I think you know him a little bit too. Really good guy, and he'll meet your needs. So check him out.
He
Give him
doesn't have a
chance.
mustache.
He does not have a mustache.
No mustache.
Yeah.
I think that's a good
Tough
thing.
balance for him.
All right, Trev, let's get to our first bit of audio and video. Let's go to the head coach, Chris Knobloch, if we could.
Last year's Eastern Conference finalists. Not only is this a tough challenge, but do you see this as a prime opportunity to maybe hit the reset button?
Well, I think we've hit the reset button a few times, when I'm coming in or after a win or, after the Tampa Bay game. So whether you're on a 10-game winning streak, losing streak, no matter how the season going, you just have to play your game, and win or lose, you got to either learn from it or enjoy it, but put it behind you and get ready for the next one because, it's a long season.
What have you liked about Brett Kulak's games that allows you to put him on the top line and on his off wing as well?
Well, one thing is I like how he's skating. We want guys transporting the puck, but also want us to be a little more assertive and getting up in the play. And I think with his ability, would like to see a lot more of that from our group, and he's certainly one of those guys that can do that.
What are you hoping to see out of Matthias Janmark as he makes his return?
Well, I don't know Matthias very well. Obviously, seen him play a little bit, but also mostly I've heard from the coaching staff just what a good utility player he is, and whether you need him on left wing or some shifts at center, or definitely on the penalty kill, what a solid penalty killer he is, or he can also play with the top players. Just he's good at retrieving pucks, getting the pucks, and going to the net, and often that's what those good players need, is just to do that. Retrieve pucks and not kill plays. And, I think later on maybe not tonight, but he's a guy that can do that too.
When you've coached a long time, you have a certain way you want to coach. When you go to a new team and get all different players, maybe higher end players or maybe a defensive team or whatever, do you just keep coaching the way you want to coach, or do you have to change it markedly because of your personnel?
Yeah, you have to change for your personnel, and I learned that when I went from Kootenay to Erie. I was completely defensive minded, and that was almost 100% of my focus. And I won a championship there, and I figured that's the way to do it. And I saw the way Kootenay did things. And when I went to Erie, I was blessed with all these offensive talents and knew that I had to play to my strengths and my players. So as every coach has their ideal of how you want to play, but you also have to think about your players on getting them to perform at their best.
Does the defensive coach, though, have to have some, what was the word Rod just used? Non-negotiables, even with his offensive guys?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There's non-negotiables. Bad pinching, make a play, need to retreat. The forwards need to get above their check. We need an F3 high. We have to finish our checks. Yes, there are non-negotiables that players need to do.
Challenges does Carolina present as maybe you're getting your first look at them live?
First look at them live this year. Being in the Eastern Conference, affiliated with the Rangers, and certainly seeing them play in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Know that team quite well. I don't think they've changed at all, or they have made changes, but their identity has stayed the same. So. I look at their depth, whether it's lines 1 through 4, play very responsible hockey, check very well. The defense move the puck up well and aren't afraid to get in the rush. So, you look it through there. I think there's a lot of challenges for us, but I think we need a good challenge right now.
Chris, just a thought on the amount of slot shot opportunities you gave up in the last game. I think I had it at 15 or 16. Obviously, it's something you want to minimize. Is it a work in progress with you taking over? Was it just unique to the situation against Florida the other night? Obviously, you didn't give up as many against Tampa in the previous game.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of it, absolutely. You cannot be giving up those quality scoring chances, and obviously Calvin played very well. You look at the amount of goals against he gave up, you think it wasn't a very good game, but the work that he had, it was unfair for him to be put in that situation, and we need a better job protecting the house. And a lot of it is not so much on our defensive structure. There's definitely things that could be better there on our defensive D-zone structure, I guess. It's mostly on our line rush against, coming back a little bit quicker. Defensemen being able to close plays at the blue line so they're not getting the rush. And then also importantly is our forwards stopping in the house, protecting the dangerous ice, and not flying by. So I think our defensive zone system, there's some things that could be better, but I think a lot of it has to do with how we're playing the rush.
And I realize the focus is on your team, but this is a different team. A lot of teams, Boston and Vegas play, zone. You came up in a system playing zone at the University of Alberta. This is a team that plays primarily man, and they play it about as well as any team in the league. How different is it to sort of match up against them?
Their system is their defensive zone system is almost identical to Florida. I thought offensively we created enough chances and did some good things there. We want to continue to doing those things. We've talked about our offensive zone play the last couple of days, and we're going to review it before the game tonight. And we want to build on that. And yes, they are good at that, and a lot of it has to do with just everyone on their team taking accountability of doing their job, but also with their defense. Their 6 are very good, and they skate well, and they're pretty strong. So it is difficult to get scoring chances against them.
All right, there's Chris Knobloch. Actually, Chris, one thing he said spurred a conversation between the two of you, and your interest peaked when you heard Bob ask about the slot shots, 15, 16 of those in Florida the other night, and then you looked and turned to him and said, how many of those were grade A? Too many was the initial instinct to react to that. And then the other thing, Chris Knobloch talked about, Cass, that as soon as he said it, as you guys were talking, he said no flying the zone. They keep doing it. And a lot of this stuff, after I listened to Chris Knobloch today, I'm like, boy, Jay Woodcroft talked about this a lot. And then you said something to the effect of, we should be coaches. Well, you are a coach. You are a coach, but just what got your conversation? I don't know how much you want to deep dive into your conversation, but as soon as the slot shots came up, it started a conversation between you two.
Well, those are just the chances that are the highest graded opportunities on the ice.
Yeah.
And, we talk ad nauseum, and, the text line goes off and it's like, goaltenders need to make a save. Yeah, they do. Sure.
Yes.
I agree. However, when you're giving up 16 slot opportunities and half of those are grade A scoring chances, well, no wonder you're going to give up 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, you're not gonna win.
You can't win.
No.
Right.
Those are every team preaches you protect your house and you invade theirs. That's where you win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the hard areas. And if you're giving up 16 chances in the hardest area of the ice that where most teams try to clog, well, yeah, good luck winning.
What's interesting to me, to move past that into some other things from that, which was, I think that was a great interview.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a lot of meat there. I think Tom, he wasn't talking about flying the zone. He was talking about flybys.
Flybys,
which means,
sorry.
Yes. No, I have the
Thank you for
opportunity
correcting
to hit somebody or to finish a check or to
flybys.
at least get in the way of them moving up ice.
Yep.
So you not necessarily running someone over, but you're impeding their ability to jump into the play and to get up ice instead of doing the TV turn, power turn.
Well,
right? Like
you said,
which is essentially being hard to play against.
Hard to play
because
against.
You're not giving up anything for free. And so every time you fly by, you're allowing a guy to just, oh, that was nice.
Straight up the ice.
Bye, I'm gone. And then you're doing your power turn or your TV turn, and you're now having to chase the game.
Yep. Instead of stopping, because if you stop, even if the other player ends up beating you up ice eventually, they still have to go around you. Like it's not, even if you don't hit them,
you're in a lane.
You're in a lane.
Literally in a lane.
In a lane, and you occupy space that forces someone to move around you. And that's something that some of the Oilers forwards, I'm looking at you, Ryan McLeod, looking at you, they do horrendously. Yeah. Now, you don't always have to, and there are times when, because of where your toes are pointed and because of wanting to be able to transition to get back, where you're not going to. Like, they happen, but it's the big, wide flyby turns that we see that happen too often. I would have loved to ask a follow-up question of, if there's non-negotiables, what are the consequences of not executing on them?
Well, okay, if I were to guess what the answer is, Jay Woodcroft would tell us when he was still the head coach, the currency is ice time. I feel like Chris Knobloch would say the currency is ice time. Now, it's one thing to respond to that question by saying that. It's another to enact it. However, last game, we saw a guy who scored for the Oilers in Evander Kane take some bad penalties, and he missed some shifts. So are we seeing a little bit of discipline from Chris Knobloch?
Maybe.
Desharnais didn't play much in the third period.
Nope.
You guys are both looking at me like I got the answer. I'm saying nothing.
I'm not looking at
You're looking
at
my mustache still. Here's my issue is that, okay, so you sat Evander, right?
Yes.
Because he took a bad penalty.
Yes.
But there's still other plays on the ice that are ridiculous, and you're not sitting that person or players for that ridiculous play.
I think we're going towards the same person here.
We've consistently, since game one, talked about.
Are we talking about the Evan Bouchard little spinny thing that I sent?
You sent that in that gift. There was
throwing,
2 TV turns.
I still don't know I don't know where he was going or what he was doing, and it looks worse sped up because
you did speed it up.
I did speed it up.
It looks awful, but the fact of the matter is that okay. Jay Woodcroft said, well, he's the guy that's going to help us get out of the mess, but he created the mess because you're not holding him accountable to what he's been doing and putting out there on the ice.
Right. The hard thing though is he is, and as we talked about when we were kind of going back and forth where we're watching that, is he is so good in the offensive zone.
He's so good. And I don't think anybody's dismissing that, but you have to at some point say, okay, man, you know what? let's unplug the controller.
Well, his
For the
controller's been
system.
unplugged a few times on the defensive.
Hit the
Well,
eject
it's
button.
it's stalled. And yeah, just like you did, Cass. Like, can you like shake it out, get some of the dirt and dust out of there, blow on it just to see if it works, stick that thing back in, and then let's go. Because he has shown the ability to play adequate defense.
Yes.
He has.
Yep.
True.
So where are we at right now? And tell me why you've completely abandoned this. Because at some point, if the coaches are like, hey, Evan, don't do that. And he says, yeah. And then they say the next play, hey, don't do that. Yeah. You either don't care or you don't give a flying.
And expletive.
That's just what coach speak is. Because if you say it 15 times and you're not picking up, well, it's one of the two. So which one is it?
Right.
So then you got to sit the guy down. That's a Constinism.
I'm not
not
opposed. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to that. I just there's a tension. All truth is in tension. There's a tension there.
Yep.
Because that tension is if you're down,
You need him.
and the play already happened, you need him because he produces offensively.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one.
But if you're going to lose a game and the guy keeps making the same mistake over and over again, well, that is not the definition of insanity.
Correct.
So then why shouldn't we sit this guy down and say, oh, you know what? Like, Ekholm, you're going to carry a few extra minutes. Nurse, you're going to play a few extra minutes. CC, you're going to play a few extra minutes. And if you lose, at least maybe you've corrected something that can help you down the road. But if we keep going back to the same well of like, well, he made the mistake that actually cost us a goal, but we got to put him back out there so that we can get the goal back. Well, that's just like outrageous because you're in the same cycle perpetually over and over again, and you're not breaking out of it.
Yeah.
So something's got to give, right? You look around the league. Line what happened to him recently?
Healthy scratch.
Healthy scratch because he was playing garbage hockey. Goudreau, he got benched for an entire period. Huberdeau, he's been benched for an entire period.
He's a $10 million guy.
Why here in Edmonton are we saying that we can't do that?
No, I'm on board for it. I think one of the things in again, we had a very quick conversation. It's amazing how much we talked about in that very short time.
It's like we've played together before.
Yeah, it was like I wonder if you could. I wonder if the solution for Evan Bouchard on the defensive side of the puck, because he wanted to have freedom offensively. I don't want to structure his offensive game because he's too good at it. Is you put in Kevin Constantine-esque rules on the defensive side of the puck. When the other team has the puck, this is what you do.
Okay, well, you don't want him to hate his life, but yeah,
well,
somewhere
but we're
down
at the, we
path.
need to win. We need to win hockey games.
Yeah,
like,
I
don't care if you hate it. I don't care if you hate it at this point. You know what? Win 15 games in a row.
I would
like
just
string
say,
a 14-0-1 together, and then sure, go do what you want to do. But
I would say it's simple as this, Evan. If it's on the strong side, and you have 0% chance, actually, if you don't even have 50% of a chance,
you got to put it at 50.
Then you need to get out of there.
Yes.
Start backing up.
Back out. Go get.
Skedaddle.
Go on, get.
Hey,
skedaddle.
I don't want to. I want to kick a horse when it's down, but
You're gonna punt that thing though, hey?
You know when he does get out of there and skedaddle? When he's hearing footsteps in his own corner.
Oh boy.
And that's frustrating.
Oh boy.
I said it. I apologize. I said it. And I have no qualms saying it. But I did. I went there. I'm sorry. Daryl via the nasty chat says one more power play goal, one more big save, one more penalty killed, one less defensive mistake, and they start winning.
Yeah, it's
that's
true.
a lot of things, but he's
that's
right.
A lot, but that is
yes.
a lot of things to ask for. But
absolutely,
it's true.
All right, let's go back into the locker room in Carolina, PNC Arena. Oilers taking on the Hurricanes. YouTube, Trev, you let us know who you want to hear from next.
Yeah, we got Matthias Janmark in the queue, so let's hear from him.
Feeling how excited you are to kind of get back up and running?
Yeah, excited for sure. It's been a long time, probably the longest I've missed inside of a year in my career. So pumped to be back, and obviously it's been tough to be out for that long. So hoping to bring my best tonight.
Different players have different strategies in terms of being able to, mentally stay focused when they are out for that long. What was it that you did for your mental game to make sure that you were ready in time to come back?
Just trust the process, kind of. Try to stay as close to the team as I could. Try to go to the meetings when I had the chance and stay involved, especially because a lot has changed since my last game. So, just try to stay stay involved, stay prepared, and try to keep your head in it. And yeah, just try to do all the simple, easy things right tonight, and kind of get your head back in the game.
It's you, Ryan McLeod, and Derek Ryan. What do you kind of like of your guys' skill sets that maybe complements each other on the third line tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Clowder's got a lot of speed. He pushes teams back. He can carry the puck in the zone. I play with a lot of speed too, so I like playing with him. And DR is just a really good pro. He makes the right plays, and if you open up space for him and give him some time, he'll make some really good offensive plays too, and he'll take care of the defensive zone too. So I'm looking forward to playing with him.
You've had a unique spot of watching this team over the last 10 games from the press box. What are you seeing when this team is playing its best hockey, Matthias?
Yeah, I mean, I think we played pretty good in stretches, and I think we made a lot of mistakes, and they've ended up in the back of our net, and we've lost games because of it. But I think our team game for long stretches have been pretty good. But that doesn't matter when you go through stretches. That kind of takes that away. So we got to work on that 60-minute game and try to limit those mistakes. And when we make them, try to cover up for each other and keep the puck out of our net.
You talked about the mistakes and also the puck luck that we saw a couple of nights ago. It just never seemed to go your way. How does a team work out of that?
Yeah, I mean, you can look at it both ways. It's some bad bounces here and there. But also, like, not every team goes. Usually, it's the teams that go through losing stretches that get those bounces. So I think maybe in some way you earn those too. Maybe we turn the puck over too many times and give those bounces too many chances to go in. So yeah, like I said, we gotta limit those and try to work on our game for longer stretches. And then when we go through rough patches during the game, we gotta make sure we don't give them any free offense and play solid defense.
Matthias, last question for me. This is a team that's won 82 times since 2020-2021 here on home ice. Of course, another Eastern Conference finalist. How much do you guys get up and look forward to the challenge of taking on one of the best teams in the NHL?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the last couple of years, this building has probably been one of the tougher buildings to play in, especially the way they play. So, I mean, it's no better challenge for us than them today, and to work, like I said, to work on our game, and against this team you really have to limit your mistakes because they're always around the puck. So if you turn the puck over, they're gonna make you pay. So it's a really good challenge for us.
Matthias, this will be your first game with a new head coach behind the bench. What are you noticing about Chris Knobloch and his style of coaching?
I don't know if I've seen too much the style of coaching because I haven't been on the bench or anything, but it seems like a very calm guy, very collected. He has his views on how to play, and I think that's going to show the longer we go. But yeah, I'm excited to get on the bench and see a little bit more in game what's going on there.
All right, so there's Matthias Janmark making his return to action tonight. He's going to play on a line with Ryan McLeod and Derek Ryan. He's missed the last 10 games, and he's taken on a Hurricanes team that's been playing much better, 7-3 in their last 10. You guys were saying, I actually don't mind that line. Belzy, why did you say that about him with McLeod and Ryan?
Well, you just got two really good defensive players on that line with McLeod, who's got a ton of speed, and hopefully those two guys can rub off on McLeod a little bit in the sense that, hey, you got to get in the way, you've got to be committed defensively, you got to be on the right side of the puck, because I think McLeod has got game. And I think the Oilers think that too, hence why they signed him to the deal that they did. And if they can help get him onto the right track, well, now, you've got another piece added to a list of players that can help you move forward. So I like it because they've got that mindset on the defensive end. But they're hardworking guys.
Yeah, it's a line that doesn't have to be all fancy pants.
Yeah,
right. Like you
100%.
can just go out and you can just go play
straight lines.
Straight lines. Play that simple game. Play that hard game, and you hope that pulls out a little bit of that in McLeod. And where he has deficiency in it, you have two other guys that can pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Cass. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Cass, you wanted to see defending structured pressure, Svechnikov snipes.
Yep.
Mark,
I don't want to see Svechnikov snipes, but
you were discussing this. You were discussing Svechnikov snipes and make your Janmark in game changers. After everything we've discussed so far, What type of game do you think we're going to see after these past 2 losses that the Oilers suffered in Florida?
I'm hoping, since it's against a really good team, we see the best pulled out of the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay, which they used to do.
So,
but a year prior.
I mean, I keep falling into the trap, as so many Oilers fans have done, and I myself have done on the year, where it's just like I just feel horrible leading into games. Then it's like I get really hopeful. Then I've been incredibly let down. Just fall down, go boom, like just completely falling apart. And I'm hopeful again for this one. I'm just every because I look at this team and I'm like, this team could do something. They should be able to do something.
Yes.
So every game I work myself up to being hopeful that we'll see the best of them. I'm hoping we see that with the Carolina Hurricanes, because if we don't, it's gonna be a long night, but a fun night.
A fun
Boston
night.
Pizza.
Yes. You've got a couple of ladies you need to take care of.
Couple sick kids at home, so gotta go throw a hand there for a little bit.
All right. Edmonton, by the way, 3-7 in its last 10 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. We're going to go back inside the Oilers locker room down in Carolina. Cass, you get home. We'll catch up with you on the post-game show. Sound good?
Absolutely. Sounds great.
All right. YouTube, Trev, who are we going to hear from next?
Well, speaking of mustaches, we've got Stuart Skinner and his beautiful mustache. Here he is.
Of everything in life, really. When you're going through a little bit of a dip right now as a team, maybe longer than you guys have hoped to start the season, how do you get out of that?
That's a great question. We're all going through that right now. We're all trying to learn, what it is that's going to help us, get out. I will say in the last 4 games we've won 3, so we are definitely climbing up. We lost the last 2. My bad, but yeah, the last 5 I'll say we're 3-2, so we're going to the right direction. I will say we have been playing a lot better. Like, our PK has been incredible, even though maybe we haven't gotten the results with a couple bad bounces. It's looking really good. Same with our power play. The guys are moving it well. 5-on-5, we've been doing great. I think sticking to the process, trying to get better every day, and also trying to stay positive in this is going to be really huge. But it's a learning process for everybody.
Matisse Janmark looks like he's making his return tonight. What kind of a presence does he have, not only on the ice but off the ice here in the locker room?
Yeah, it's massive. I'm very excited to watch him play tonight. From my experience being his teammate, he's just he's off the ice. He's such a great guy. He's very humble, very kind. He's got a good heart. He's a really good team guy. He's there for your team at all times, and on the ice. For me personally, I really enjoy him because he's such a good two-way forward. He plays the right way every single day. You know what you're going to get out of Yanni. He's so consistent, plays the same way every day, and I love him for that.
Stu, giving way to Pickard last game, do you maybe watch him a little bit more intently, just kind of trying to maybe pick up what's his style a little bit and what you can take from that?
Yeah, I tell Picks every day that I'm trying to be more like him. He's again, just another really good teammate, somebody who you always kind of want to be around. He's a very funny guy. I really enjoy him a lot. And on the ice, he does so many things well. He's obviously got a ton of experience, a lot of experience in the NHL. Just a guy that, again, same thing as Yanni, just consistent. You know what you're going to get out of him every day, as a person and also on the ice. So I've been trying to take as much as I can from him.
Is there a stylistic thing about his game that you like, or maybe you try to pick up a little bit? Is there any of that?
The guy doesn't get scored on an open shot. It's very good how well he tracks. It's very impressive. I love the way how calm he is. Just his appearance on the ice, he's very calm, relaxed. Nothing ever rattles him. He's just very focused, dialed in on his job, and then leaves the rest of the guys. So he does things very professionally.
Stuart, since the start of the 2020-2021 season, the Carolina Hurricanes have a record of 82, 22, and 12 on home ice. How much do you guys appreciate and approach this challenge and kind of get up for it?
Yeah, they're a great team. They have been for many years. They just got a solid squad from top to bottom. So hearing that is like hearing a challenge. It's a big opportunity for us to come out here and how many losses do they have? 22?
22 and 12.
Well, it's a chance to make them 23, so it's a very good opportunity for us to get a win for ourselves against a very good team.
There's Stuart Skinner, very positive, upbeat, and appreciating the challenge that's in front of him. Carolina's been a really good team on home ice. They've been a really good team the last few years in general, and now the Oilers will look to try to get a win against them. Building that has not been kind to Edmonton Belsey for quite some time. So, I don't know. Do you have a good vibe going into tonight?
I'm like Cass. I've gotten my hopes up because I believe in this team. I believe in the players that are on this team. And right now, I couldn't even give you a prediction because I don't know how to feel. It's the reason why I was joking about creating PSAs the other day.
Wow.
I really hope that the Oilers come out and they play the game that everybody knows they can. That's just my hope.
They've done it in small increments.
They have, and it's, to me, people are talking about like it's a fragile team and it's an immature team, but why? Why are they so fragile? Why are they at a point, like what changed from last year where these guys were so resilient to now where it's like something bad happens and it's instantly like, hey, we're done. Because I think they have more to give. It's not like they've changed, what, 5 guys?
Yes. Yeah.
That's not a big group of guys. So it's interesting to me how this works.
Look who's here. Lieutenant Erickson.
Look at this guy.
Now. Boston Pizza Kingsway. We're here to watch the Oilers and the Carolina Hurricanes as we try to figure out what the heck is wrong with this Oilers team. What do you think's wrong, Eric?
How long do we have?
As long as you want.
Yeah, a couple hours or what?
Yeah.
We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Where do I start? Well, first off, no, I'm just gonna. I don't need to do this right now.
Okay, go get yourself a beverage. That's Lieutenant Eric. Come on down, check it out. The whole crew's gonna be here. Cass had to leave. Belsey's gonna be here. Gager's got a couple of sick ladies at home as well. Owanik's here.
My wife's sick too. She's sick.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, Lindsay. Oh no, she probably said stay away.
Stay
or do you
away
have
from
to take care of her?
I had to yesterday, so I couldn't play men's league. We ended up losing 9-4, which sucks. But today I got, do your thing. Just make sure you're home for when little one goes to bed.
All right. We appreciate that, Lindsay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay.
A couple of stats to throw your way. Edmonton 2-7 on the road this year, while the Hurricanes 5-1. So another tough building, like Florida was, like Tampa was. Edmonton 5-10-0 with 2 ties all time. At Carolina, I'm not including Hartford, so 97-98 on when they became the Hurricanes, and then 3-7 in their last 10 against Carolina. Edmonton this year versus the Metro Division, just a 1-2 record. Meanwhile, Carolina 4-2 versus the Pacific. 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat if we have any texts that we want to get to. I saw some earlier that I didn't mind. This one from Danny says, all the negativity is sucking the life out of me, boys. Same angry rants. Can we shift the discussion at all? Don't put me in a timeout, please, Maddie. Maddie will not put you in a timeout, I don't think.
Danny, there's no angry rants right now, man. It's just, we're just speaking facts. And at the end of the day, the Oilers need to be better. Because if they don't get better, they're not going to win.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be somewhere in, April. They're going to be out of the playoffs. They're going to be golfing, and then we're all going to be losing our minds. We just want them to play better, pure and simple. There's no angry rants here because they have the ability to do it. We've seen it in stretches. We've seen it in spurts. They're a good hockey team. They've got 2 of the best players in the entire world playing for them. They have the ability. We just need to see a little bit more.
If I told you they're a bad team playing or with good players, would you agree with that?
Right now, yes, I would agree with that. They're a bad team with good players. However, they have the ability to be an elite team with elite players.
Yes.
Pure and simple.
And listen, I didn't want to use this one till very late in the show, but one day at a time. Jay Woodcroft used to say it. Seriously, like Cass has talked about it. I've talked. Belsey, if they go one day at a time, focus on what the task at hand is. And unfortunately, it's at this point.
Yeah,
going
it's
into
just
game 18.
Baby steps at this point, right?
Yeah.
So let's shore up the defensive zone. You give up 16 chances in the slot. Well, you know what? Today, give up 10.
Yes.
That's where it's
That's
at.
a
and
small,
you have to
small
figure
victory
out,
like we were talking
yeah,
about.
It's the small victories, and you have to figure out a way to make it you need to get better every single day.
Yeah.
Coaches always talk about getting 1% better every day. Well, 1% better is, let's limit this chances from 15 to 14 realistically, but let's go to 10.
Yeah. I like that and respect that very much. Let's wrap up with a couple of texts in the nasty chat. Penner's Pancake says, anger is almost turning into acceptance. This is something I noticed on the post-game show the other day. And then this one I like from VA. Carl Winslow and Buzz
Family
Killington.
Matters. I'm shaving it, so you can't call me that anymore.
And I don't want to be Buzz Killington. GA, thank you for that. I'm going to see if there's anything in the the inbox. Fat Dan, actually, let's wrap it up with Fat Dan. We heard from him earlier, but he says, positive attitude time. Oilers plus 1.5 tonight. Close loss. Let's go, boys. LOL.
I do like the positivity stuff that's going on right now in this chat, because I do think this team needs the fans to rally. We're all negative. We're all not happy with where the team's at, and let's get on the positive vibes.
Okay,
let's bring them.
Let's bring the positive vibes. But Taco,
give up that ninth chance.
Taco Texan says, Nurse took a puck to the head just now during warm-up.
Oh boy.
Skinner blew a tire, slid across the center line. Good start so far.
Keystone Cops, boys. Keystone Cops. You know what? That stuff scares me though, because remember when Taylor Hall took that skate
Corey
to the head?
Potter jumped on him.
To me, it's like, why? Like, I know Darnell goes no bucket.
Yep.
So we can feel the wind in his hair as he high steps. Why?
Did you wear a helmet all the time in warm-up?
For the most part, until one year I decided not to. Man, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's so awesome.
Hopefully,
it's National League. It's National League.
Hopefully Darnell is okay.
Put your buckets on, boys. Strap them up.
Exactly. All right. That's going to do it for the Oil Stream pregame show. Huge thank you to everyone who tuned in, texted in. Come on down if you're not doing anything. Watch the game with us here at BP Kingsway. We're getting some people in. Lieutenant Erickson, he might buy you some oyster shots. Or some not shots, but oysters.
BP's has oysters?
What's that?
My God.
Well,
Fireball? Let's do it.
There's $5 shots. Dusty
Everybody
said,
better get down here. Dusty's buying Fireball.
Dusty did say on the Oil Stream that if Ryan McLeod scores, he will buy everybody who's in the lounge a shot.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys better get down here because Dusty is buying shots.
There you go. Ryan McLeod goal. We'll see if it happens.
Nope. Dusty's buying shots. Let's go, everybody.
Boston
Let's
Pizza
go.
Kingsway. Huge thank you to everyone who tuned in, texting. Come on down if you're not doing anything. The whole gang's here. And for YouTube, Trev, Sean Bell, Matt Kassian, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you. Enjoy the Oilers versus the Hurricanes, and we'll catch you on the postgame show.